Hi, my name is Khristián Méndez Aguirre, and I am the director and the lead writer for Year of the Tiger. The play is about a news anchor who's in her house in Austin, and she's getting ready to do a broadcast, like a year-end broadcast, sort of a recap of the past year since the pandemic began, when a tiger visits her. And the tiger really wants her to get her story straight. The script was developed because we were supposed to do a different show, and in the summer, when the civil unrest around the Black Lives Matter movement was happening, the designers and I asked ourselves, since we're gonna have to pivot our original production, which was supposed to be a different script, so much from what we had already envisioned, was putting our energies into producing that same script the best use of our time and energy? Or should we try to do something that's a little bit more timely? Once we had kind of a direction, we decided to go collect interviews from people who are in the front lines, and we were like, well, that's one thing that the theater can do really well, which is to capture specific moments and present that for an audience with live performance. So we set out to work on this form called documentary theater, which has a long history, but in the United States, some of the key exponents of the genre are people who are engaged with a lot of social and political issues. And we were lucky enough that KJ Sanchez, the head of the directing program at UT, has a wealth of expertise in documentary theater. As we got into the interview process, we realized that documentary theater can sort of bridge an event or a particular group of people with sort of a general audience. And so I had the idea to introduce a tiger. We always knew that the play was going to be some sort of blend of fact and fiction, because the idea for the newscast was sort of there from the beginning. And I was like, once that's our spine, our story spine, that this is a newscast, everything else can be sort of real, everything else can be sourced from interviews. But then once the idea of the tiger came in, we realized that we were going to be working in this kind of blend of fact and fiction. I think the tiger represents a couple of things. Early on, the tiger kind of felt almost like a metaphor for the pandemic, living in the pandemic. Everything feels like there's a tiger out there. We wanted to do all these shows for the season and a tiger came and ate them. Or you leave your house and you're hoping that you won't get bit by the tiger, you're hoping that you won't catch the virus. But now it has come to mean a couple of different things. I think one of the things that the tiger means is sort of this sense of drama that we're living now, that we don't know if meeting a stranger in the street is going to be something that causes our death or the death of people we love. And so it's this real sense of that the stakes are really high, and that is both painful and dangerous in the real world, and in our art form makes for high stakes drama. The rehearsal process has been tricky, so it took some physical and mental stretching to get back into that process. But at the same time, I feel everyone's really eager and feels really excited to be part of something, because it's really hard to make theater and film right now. So I think kind of balancing both of those things has been tricky, but also exciting. It's a political piece, and it's touching on sensitive subjects for ourselves, for people in the company, but also for our audience. I do think that this model, even just a couple of weeks ago when everything was happening in Wall Street, I was like, oh, we could put that in the script. So there's a way that the script feels timely. And I feel that the work, I think we're asking a lot of questions that are really good for us to be sitting with right now. What does it mean for us to tell a story that is true? What does it mean to tell other people's stories? Which that's a question that our industry and our department has been engaging with for a few years. What are the poetics? What is the craft and the artistry in really taking literally someone else's words or someone else's experience and using it for your own purposes? There's something there that we hope sparks conversation, or that sparks a reaction, or that feels truthful or interesting, or offers a new lens for our audience and for our fellow artists. And I think it feels really special to be trying to do something working really collaboratively and really closely and intimately, and remaining physically distant. My hope for audiences to take away from the Year of the Tiger, I hope they take a good hour of entertainment. If our work can help people see things in a different perspective, even if it's not our perspective, but just like a different one, I feel like we've done our job. And I'm only speaking for myself. I'm sure the company has, like, each member of the company, the actors, the designers, the technicians, the shops, like, I'm sure everybody has a different hope for this, for the audiences. I feel like if people watch the show and they feel a little bit differently about like fact and fiction, or like fact and truth, I feel like we've done our job.